Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. Excited to show you this today. It's been something I've been wanting to get out to you for a while. Before I go any further, as you can see, this is the Stripe account for one of my businesses. I'm just going to refresh the screen. The reason I do this is just to show you some transparency. There is a lot of people out there who haven't made the money or done the thing that you want to achieve. And so by showing you this, maybe you'll realise that I have or have achieved some relative success, and maybe give you a reason to listen and hopefully implement and change your business. So you can see here, gross volume 8.85 AED. If I put this into Google to GBP and USD, you can see here 1.78 million pounds and then 2.4 million USD. So let's get into the good stuff now. How I turned my 1.79 million agency into an AI agency. So let's get stuck in. I will grab my pen here just to circle some stuff so you see it. So how did it all start? Well, we started with a group coaching off Done With You. So this was kind of like an info product. This was mentorship style stuff. And we started with no automations, no AI in there at all. Ran that for a couple of years. And then we started introducing go high level automations. Nothing crazy, just, workflows, reminders, couple of like probably more fancier than basic automations, but nothing crazy. And then we moved into like kind of do-it-yourself model, which essentially is a course. We had a course, low ticket, off with no AI, no automations, anything like that. Just literally a course for people who are in our industry brand new, just started the business, could work through it, and then eventually get graduated to the Done With You program. Now, the Done With You is as simple as it sounds. You do a bunch of the work for the clients in the sense of you create frameworks, resources, tools, and they sort of add in their own context and they do their own little tweaks. So they still do a good bit of work, and so do you. And then we started it Done For You. And of course, as you can imagine, Done For You is 3 times the price. This is typically in the middle. And then this is obviously cheaper because they have to do more of the work. And so the Done For You was really simple. We could do 90% of the work for the client. The client would just have to provide us a couple of assets and tools and resources. Listen, in business, you always have to do the work, but we take a lot of the load off for them. And then where we kind of landed, like I'd probably say, in between that time, we moved to more of a Done For You. We kind of done away with the lower tier. We started introducing like more advanced go high level automations, AI like tools, sort of like tools that basically, if I was to just rename this, this isn't me that came up with this, I saw this somewhere, but it was like DXY. So AI is giving us the ability to, it's like done accelerated with you. So you can you do a lot of the stuff, or AI helps with a lot of the stuff, so you can't take credit for it, so you can't charge Done For You prices, but at the end of the day, you built the tools and the resources that makes your clients' lives easier. And as you'll see from this video, it is all about getting a result and making the client's life easier, AI or not, right? So we started using AI tools, Make.com, Zapier, these types of things that not only streamlines our processes, but streamlines our clients' processes. And then from there, we started hiring full-time team members. And pretty much for the last 3 years, we have been heavily using systems, AI, and these sort of things. Everything from introducing GPT tools to make our clients' lives easier, all the way through to installing AI infrastructure. And so when I started thinking of the pillars and the framework for this, and you can steal this if you want, what you've got to realise when you're building an AI agency or doing anything AI related, you've got to remember the number one important thing, and it's the human being. And so all businesses really aren't B2B, B2C, they're business to human. And so that we wanted to keep that at the very core of what we've done. So here it is, business to human. And so what's the pillars from that? Like, what's the sub-headline from business to human? What does that mean? It's like, well, no matter what tools we use, resources, and the way we deliver the service or fulfillment, it's about connection, experience, and exclusivity. And so these buzzwords are like value words. These, like, the service has to deliver that. So there has to be deliverables to get a connection with a client, to create experience, and to create that feeling of exclusivity. And then we move over to like, okay, it has to be an AI first agency. And so it's like, well, what does that mean? It's like, well, we have to bring the education to our clients in a way that's fast, current, and relevant. And we have to give them value, speed to value. At the end of the day, we're not installing AI for the good of our health. We're installing it so that everybody's life gets easier. It's a resource, it's a tool. It's like, imagine having the internet back, 25 years ago and just not using it because your morals, like, you have to use it if you want to get faster and win. And that's what the name of business is all about. And the third pillar is results. And there's really only one thing from this, the speed to results. And so the only way that you would install AI or install systems and use the internet is to get results quicker. And so when you think of all these three things here, the only thing missing is the outcome. What do your clients actually want? Like, what do they truly, truly want? And so that's what you have to sit on, because everything else comes from that, and then you reverse engineer it. And to help you with this, I've got 3 questions for you. What are your clients trying to achieve? What is the outcomes that they want the most? What would be the fastest humanly/AI possible way to get those results? And I want you to sit with those 3 questions, write them down on a notepad right now, because if you don't obsess over this, you're not going to win. And so I obsessed over these 3 questions, even like the third question, not so much, but the first 2. And that's how I created the MRR agency, because no one sat with these questions. All the other business coaches in the fitness space when I was in it, like, all they cared about was big upfront months and all this sort of stuff, scaling. And whereas I was the only one that dedicated myself to MRR. Of course, then the rest of them followed and copied me. And so the reason I came to the MRR conclusion was, what they're trying to achieve, they just want a stable, secure career. Okay, what is the most stable and secure business model? Recurring revenue. Okay, and that's how I went down that path. And that's why there's an agency sign right above me. And that's how my business is called the MRR agency. And then the next thing becomes like, what is the outcomes? Well, they want consistent revenue. And so they have to do the things that result in that outcome. They want to make sure that their money's coming in a predictable fashion. And then the third one is like, what would be the fastest way to achieve that? So how do we get these clients that stable, secure result? And everything else feeds off of that. The next part to look at is your deliverables. And so this is just what you do on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly basis with your clients. And then you have frameworks and tools. And so what I did here was we just laid out all of the stuff that we do. And you have to remove emotion here. This has to be about the client. It can't be that, but I love my Tuesday call, or that's the best framework I've ever created. It's like, it doesn't matter. It has to go through these 3 questions. And this is a filter, by the way. And so what you need to do basically is like list it all out, right? And you take this. So this is the agency hour. So this is an actual weekly call that our clients would jump on in a weekly basis. And it's like, well, listen, does that weekly call, that agency hour, does it help them what they're trying to achieve? It's like, yeah, the answer is yes. Okay. Is it helping? Is it getting them faster towards their outcome that they want the most? Yep. Okay. What would be the fastest way for them to get? Is this part of it? Now, of course, like, you're going to have some deliverables that might not face that scrutiny, but see if it answers one of these 3 as well. So that weekly call, did it provide connection? Yep. Is it exclusive? Yep. It's client only. So, okay, cool. There's a couple of ticks here. And so you're just coming down all of these deliverables and see if one of them doesn't match up. It has to go. Like, it just has to go. And so we had like meta ads, right, where we would do it for them or do it with them. And so if it were done with you version where the client couldn't afford the higher tier, it still had to do all of these things. And so what we found is we had to redo the course. We had to make sure every training was like 5 minutes long, max. And so it just creates this incredible standard that you go on when it comes to your deliverables. And so we used to do a ton of events, massive 100 people at these events in person. But the reality was people were just sitting there like getting shotgun with information, and it wasn't getting them closer to the goal. Now, it was providing connection, experience and exclusivity. My clients loved it. I loved it. But it was slowing results down because they would go to these events and get filled with dopamine and feeling like I'm doing something. And we just never saw enough results from event to event. And so we decided, like, the more we put these events on, the more clients are going to think they're getting momentum, when actually the momentum comes on the other stuff where it all matters. And so you want to do that with all your frameworks and tools. So we've got the dashboard, a disruptive system, all of these types of things, AI agents. And then you have to come down here and just go, right, are they going to be kept, rebuilt or cut? Obviously in here I've got a few things, like a few best practices, if you will, when we're following the business human framework. Use plain, simple language. I was a sucker for fancy words and fancy frameworks and everything else because I'm just that kind of person. I like that stuff. But my clients are stressed, busy, and you can see here, it has to make sense to a stressed out business owner at 9 p.m. And so, by the way, see when we went through our school trainings and stuff, some of the videos were like an hour and a half long. It's like, that used to work 3 years ago. And so everything had to get redone. And so if I take like this framework, for example, let's say the disruptive ads framework, right? So this is how our clients who are done with you can do it themselves so they don't have to pay us as much money, right? So I come down here and it's like, well, what's it called? It's called the disruptive ad system. Well, does it use plain language? Yeah, well, it's disruptive. It's how to get attention for your ads. Okay, it works. Can it be understood without explaining it? Probably. Does it reduce confusion and anxiety? Clearly states what to do next. So this is more so like when you build it and what the framework is inside it. And does it make sense? And so see if it doesn't tick all these boxes. This right here has to go in the rebuild section. And so what you'll do, which is what I had, I went through all of this. And eventually I had stuff to be rebuilt, stuff to cut, which is my favourite thing to do because it's going to save you more time, and stuff to keep. Now, the biggest problem what's happening here is everybody's going in, right, and trying to make AI the first thing they do. It's like, what can we automate? It's like, do you even know if your clients need it? So we've got people who are going in and using AI to automate and like stuff. It's like, have you even scrutinised whether that thing's even important? So this is important first before you start adding AI to things. And then we come down here and it's like AI generates the first version of everything. So I'm going to leave you with something here, just about done. One of the most important rules you can apply here is the 80-10-10 rule. Now this rule is simple. I'm going to write it out so it helps land better for you. You're going to do 80% of the work gets done by 10% of the work is your client's context and unique situation. And then the other 10% is your skill set. And this is where we are in the real world now. This is it. So you take a task, you take a thing, you need AI to do 80% of the heavy lifting, 10%, the next 10% from all of that data and information, it goes all in your client's context, their industry, their sector, their likes, dislikes, their brand, how they want to come across, everything. And the other 10%, they need you. This is where you put your experience on it. So I'll give you a simple example. We've got people now who are trying to run ads through Claude because there's an MCP it's connected to it, and I've got a video on this. And what they're doing is they're using Claude to for conversion rate optimization. They're using it to try and get leads. And Claude doesn't know that 10% that I know. It doesn't have all the data. Especially when we ran fitness ads. We ran fitness ads for years. Claude does not know fitness ads better than me and my team because we've got the data. But it'll just guess. And so right now, you and your business and your situation, you've got that 10% skill set. And although it only sounds like 10%, it doesn't sound like a lot. It's the part people pay for now. People know that 80% of the work's getting done by AI. And so if you miss out this part here, you're just trying to put your skill set on AI and the client doesn't feel like it's worth it for them. So that's the most powerful framework of the full thing, to be honest with you. And then we come over here and it's like, well, what does speed to results look like? Well, it's creating an action plan for the first 7 days. It produces visible movement within 14 days. It leads to a tangible output, live, published, launched and sent. It doesn't rely on long-term payoff only. And so what you've got here is just a ridiculous way for you to turn your business into an AI-first business that is fueled on efficiency, both speed of execution and financial efficiency and profitability. And so you come down here, and once you've got all the stuff in a list, so if we just move a bunch of things here, you'll see this one's here, this one gets cut. Whatever is needing kept and rebuilt, you have to create SOPs. And so this is where you go in and you just have a ridiculous amount of SOPs for all of these tasks, and you apply the 80-10-10 rule. It's going to give you a lot of work to do, but what you're going to come out the other end. So for me, I had 9 members of staff. We've done this, and we've got 5 left full time. Best staff ever. And we're running very, very profitably. And so you can do the same. You've just got to create the SOPs and do the work from that. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. If you want some SOPs and things like this, if you're liking this kind of content, there's a link in the description to join my school group. It's a one-time cheap payment, and it's got all the stuff like this inside it. And if you want to watch more videos, there's a video just popped up on screen. Enjoy.